Okay, today I'm going to talk about shifts in demand. What do we mean by shifts in demand? We mean a movement, a fundamental movement in demand. Remember, demand is what we want and can buy. Okay, we've got the money and we want the product or service. So that's demand, and that's all the consumers together. When we talk about demand, we're talking about all the consumers. And a shift in demand is a fundamental change in the market. When something happens that changes the relationship between demand and supply. Let's have a look at the factors which cause a shift in demand. You've got changes in consumer incomes. Okay, what can we see here? Obviously, we see somebody who's doing very well in whatever job they're doing. They're taking off. Their career is taking off. So they're getting promotion. So obviously, if people are getting promoted, the economy is going very well. People's incomes are going up. They're getting promoted. They're getting job pay rises. That would change consumers' income, and so there would be a shift in demand. Or, for example, unemployment. Here we see the opposite. Somebody who's having to leave a company. She looks very sad because she's going to have no income, or much less income, maybe a bit from the government. So there will be a change in consumers' incomes if that happens a lot. If lots of people reduce their income, suddenly there will be a shift in demand. We can't buy so much goods or services, and that will change the relationship between supply and demand, which will change the price and the quantity supplied to the market and sold on the market. Another fundamental shift in demand would be, here we can see a picture of some citizen being shaken for his money by a big hand which represents the government. So we can see changes in taxes on income. Obviously here the governments are trying to take more money from the citizen, and so maybe they want to buy, but they can't. They haven't got the money. So the want is there, but they can't buy. Or government can also reduce taxes, and that will increase demand. So the relationship with the demand and supply would change, which will change the price and the quantity sold on the market and quantity wanted on the market. So we'll create a new equilibrium. Also, we've got shifts in demand if, for example, we have changes in a substitute product. So, for example, if rice becomes very expensive, people will look to alternatives, and maybe the demand will go up for pasta. Maybe rice has become very expensive for other reasons, supply or something, and then that will change the demand for pasta. Also, if rice becomes very cheap, pasta could reduce its demand. People will want less pasta, for example. This is about changes in the want, not the can buy, but the want to buy. So shifts in demand because of changes in taste, habits and fashion. So people want different things, which can increase or decrease demand. If we look and the fashion in the 1970s. It's very different than the fashion in the 1980s. And obviously this changes the demand for products. Those which are fashionable, those which are in the taste of the modern era will become increases in demand because the want, not just the can, but the want to buy will increase. Then we have population change. Here we can see lots of people, a population. If we take away a quarter, obviously there will be less demand. There'll be less demand for products like food and clothes and lots of things. Demand will go down. Alternatively, if we have a lot of babies, demand could go up. But at the moment, Italy is not having the babies, and so maybe demand changes a lot for products for young people. There are very few young people. So music, maybe, in Italy is demanded less. It's wanted less. But it's not just babies, also population changes with immigration. Lots of immigrants coming mean we have a greater demand for housing, for food, for essential services. Maybe essential services, especially if they're poor Africans coming from the Mediterranean. And obviously this will have a big effect on different markets. Then we've got shifts in the demand for other factors. Other factors could be, for example, weather. We have a hot summer, demand for ice cream could increase, or we have a cold winter, coats maybe will increase in demand, or alternatively, if we have a hot winter, demand could reduce. So these are the different factors for the demand curve, which will shift, which will move the whole curve to the right or to the left and change the equilibrium point. Now, also, we've got shifts in the supply. If we remember what supply means, supply is what we can and what we want to produce and to, sell on the market, goods or services. So shift again is movement, shift. Right, what will shift the supply curve? For example, changes in the costs of factors of production. We remember the factors of production. We've got land, labour, we've got capital, which is what we need to produce. Remember, that's what we need. Machines and equipment, etc. And then enterprise, the ideas and the organisations which organise the other factors of production. So changes in the cost of factor production obviously will change the supply. If labour becomes more expensive, then the producer will want to supply and be able to supply much less with the existing budget. So that, or maybe it becomes cheaper. Maybe labour can become cheaper, and then supply will increase because maybe the owners of the factors of productions will want to open another factory, thinking that this is more profitable than they thought. or other land, maybe land becomes very cheap and available, and so the owners of the production, factors of the production, the entrepreneurs will want to increase the supply in their products that they produce, etc. So you've got these costs of the factors of production. Another shift in the supply curve would be changes in the price and profitability of other goods and services. Here we can see if a train becomes very cheap, then maybe cars will be less supplied. If the trains become very profitable, shall we say, the resources will move towards investment into trains and then reducing the price of trains and out of the car market. And alternatively, you can go the other way. If it becomes less profitable. You've got technological advance. This increases supply if we produce robots, if there are robots which can produce much cheaper and much more effectively and efficiently in a very good, efficient way, then this will increase the supply of products to a market. We're seeing this at the moment. Then you've got business optimism. Remember, if people are optimistic about the economy, they're more likely to invest in the economy. They're more likely to decide to open a business, open an activity to make some money. So business optimism is very important and can increase supply. Go the other way too. If we're all worried about a possible crisis, which at the moment people are very worried with this virus, then people stop investing and start closing businesses and supply slows in the market. You see something, second picture, they're very negative and probably the business activity will reduce. Then you've got global factors. We can think of global warming. Obviously, in global warming, there will be changes in supply of certain products that grow well in cooler climates, and vice versa. Maybe I think there's been some increase in wine production in England because the climate's getting warmer, and so this means that they can increase the supply in wine in England. Maybe also the climate's getting wetter, which will mean maybe better production possibilities for rice, etc. And then you've got wars and sanctions and natural disasters. If there's an earthquake, it may destroy a lot of infrastructure, factories and bridges, etc. May reduce supplies. Wars too generally reduces supplies of everything apart from weapons. And trade sanctions, at the moment America's got a lot of sanctions against China, which will obviously reduce supply of certain products in China, where China depends on America. Okay.